Hello and welcome to the Matchday Preview Show here on Back of the Net. My name's Sam Davis.
My name's Tom Jordan.
And look, we're under no illusion that this weekend is going to be a challenge for us. In fact, the season is as a whole. Cherries travel to Manchester City tomorrow, or today if you're already travelling to the Etihad. And on paper, it's the toughest match of the season, Tom, isn't it? We can't wait. This is what we got promoted for.
Exactly, it's what we got promoted for. And as you say, on paper, it's a title decider, really. Both teams level on points, level on goal difference. But no, it's one of them things, isn't it? You've got to play them all. And yeah, listen, maybe it's better to get them out of the way. I don't know, but not expecting much. But I'm intrigued to see how we set up this time around, against this sort of side. But yeah, as you say, mate, we're under no illusions. It's going to be difficult, but hey, free it, mate. Let's go and see what we can do.
So if you're a fan of a Premier League side, probably a Man City fan if you're tuning in. We are Back in the Net. We're an AFC Bournemouth fan channel and one of the only independent podcasts as well, dropping every single Monday. But as a YouTube channel, you've come here and you're in the right place because we're going to be talking about your side on this preview. We're also going to be doing a matchday vlog and much more to sides, including a second look show which analyses how we managed to thump you 3-0 on your own turf. Stranger things have happened.
I'll take two.
I would take two as well. But look, there's a little red button at the bottom. We go to every single game and you might want to just have a look at our journey in the Premier League because you know what? We do post some interesting content and there's a Premier League show, Tom.
There is. We've got a Premier League show now that we've just started that we're going to bring out every week. Just kind of a roundup of the games, and that's kind of our one where we leave the bias at the door a little bit and just talk about the Premier League as a whole now we're in it. But yeah, little slant on Bournemouth stuff, but a lot of content, a lot of Premier League stuff. So click the subscribe button and join us for our Premier League adventure that's going to go on for a long, long time. So get there early.
Get there early. Look, we're a small fan channel and we rely on your donations to keep going. Every single penny goes back into what we do here on Back of the Net. And look, at the end of the show, there's a monthly Legends wall where you can have your name on it and you'll see our bloopers, you'll see loads of extra content on there, and it's somewhere where Cherries fans can get involved, Tom, but we don't make mistakes, do we?
No, not at all. I mean, there's probably double the amount of bloopers than there is content, but apart from that, no. But come and you can chat to other Cherries fans and yeah, like you say, get little teasers and that on what's going on. So yeah, definitely worth doing, I would say, mate.
And another perk of being in that group is that during the football season every month we're giving away a piece of merchandise to our members. We've done Cherry Scarf before, we've done a couple of giveaways, but this month you may have seen on Twitter that we're running a competition thanks to Matthew Wood, a graphic designer who does his own prints, and he's got one for the Cherries. You can see it on screen now, and how good would that look? It is unframed, but you can frame it relatively cheaply, but that looks amazing on the wall, and it's got our 21-22 championship winning squad on it. Absolutely superb. You can't not have that, so feel free to become a member of Back of the Net. But if not, that subscribe button is all good. There's also a little thumbs up thing in there.
Oh yeah, a little thing. I think it's called a like, isn't it? Click that, get seen to more people. That'll really help us out. And you're more than welcome to click the little bell thing as well, because that'll let you know when we've got a video out, and it's quite regular. So if you struggle to keep up sometimes, click the bell, does it for you.
Absolutely. And you may have noticed that we're in a different place this week. Look, we're on location for all our preview shows this season. Last week we could not start the pair, but here we're in Off the Far Post in Folkestone, Tom. What an amazing shop this is, eh?
Oh, it's great. I've been here before, but not for a long time, and they've got even better. I mean, it's not even just Bournemouth stuff. The amount of shirts and programs and frame pictures and boots, and I mean, they've just got everything. And to me, I love all this stuff. You've played football with me enough, Sam. I've got Tunisia shirts and bloody all sorts, and yeah, I'm thinking I could spend a few in there, but I mean, some really good stuff, mate. It's definitely worth checking out. I can just come around here. It's almost like a football library.
Yeah,
it's what I like. I just like to come in and just look at everything, and it's great, and it's right by the station, and at Folkestone Station by the Bell pub. So yeah, really handy location as well if you're coming to a game.
Yeah, absolutely. Check them out on Facebook, and also we've posted their Twitter account in the link below as well. Like Tom said, just opposite Folkestone Station. If you're here on an away day, Man City fans, make sure because you'll probably be going to the Bell pub. It's just literally next door. There's loads on Man City. There's shirts. Yeah. It's like a museum of football. So you've got to check it out.
There's a little Nathan Ake Man City shirt in the window.
Is there?
Today? Yeah. So I thought that's a nice touch. But yeah, plenty of Man City stuff in there as well. So it goes back so many years as well. I mean, you weren't even born when some of these programmes are out, mate, so
Thanks. So on this video, we're going to provide you with the blueprint of how AFC Bournemouth are going to beat Manchester City. That's right. We're full of optimism here, Tom. And look, let's just look it down. All it is 11v11. That's all it is.
Yep.
Same amount of players on each side. Yes, they've got Haaland, De Bruyne, Cancelo, Silva, Mahrez, Nathan Ake. But we've got Mepham, Kelly, Jay-Z, Adam Smith, Kiefer Moore. Easy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you said it perfectly, mate. Yeah, no problem at all. But no, seriously, it is 11v11 and strange things have happened. Palace beat them last year, didn't they? So it's been done before. I mean, we've never done it, but we've had a lot of virtually every season. We've been in the Premier League prior. We've done giant killings, if you like, and beaten City's the only one left that we've never taken a point off. So it's time, innit? It's time, mate.
Maybe it's time. And look, Pep's team started in winning ways. London Stadium against West Ham United. It was a 2-0 win, Tom. You saw the game, and they had a lot of the ball. They didn't really have to do much with it, but they just picked and chose their moments. They could have had more, couldn't they? They looked impressive.
They did, and I think probably West Ham probably happy that they just decided to kind of keep the ball and just make sure that they had the job done. The win was in the bag, so they just kind of kept the ball where they could have really gone for the jugular and got a lot more. But yeah, they look classy, and obviously they've added someone called Haaland who looks all right up top.
I've heard of him.
It's going to be his home debut, which is a bit scary, but no, they did look good and also solid at the back as well. So West Ham didn't cause them too many problems, and yeah, they just know how to manage the game perfectly. And yeah, they were very impressive, but it also wasn't a surprise, was it? It wasn't like they've surprised anyone, whereas maybe we did, because I don't think many people thought we would come out of 3 points and a clean sheet against Villa. So yeah, I think we surprised people more. City just done what everyone expects City to do.
So look, I'm really interested to know your thoughts on Manchester City as a club, as a fan base, because it's fair to say they've developed very quickly in the last 20 years or so. I was actually at one of the old games against them at the old Dean Court, 1998, I think it was. They brought down loads of fans. It was a 0-0 there. They packed out the Brighton Beach End, but investment has done some very good things for them, and look, they seem to have a really good structure, and the club has almost outgrown the fan base in terms of the number of supporters that they got, because for what's a club that's like a worldwide entity, they're still one of the smaller ones. Yeah,
I guess so. I think the owners and that have done really well in terms of around the city and stuff, and really helping that, and they have got a lot of fans that were there back in the lower leagues, and I am pleased for them. It must be. I mean, it almost feels like, obviously not to the same degree, but we had this, we're in the Premier League now. We remember how crap it was down in the lower leagues, and City have got that now. Looking at what's happening with United the last few years, they're finally having their last laugh. And
is Manchester sky blue? Is it?
I mean, footballing terms, absolutely, because the team on the pitch are absolute, head and shoulders above Man United. Man United will always be the bigger club. I mean, Man United, I'd probably say Man United, Real Madrid, Liverpool, they're the big boys, aren't they? But City, in terms of footballing, probably they just need that Champions League to gloss it over, but probably one of the best teams in Europe at the moment. So, yeah, and, fans, I think they just can't believe what they're seeing still, which we can weirdly kind of understand, because I have to picture myself that we're a Premier League team. They must think the same, that they're going for league titles and signing kind of whoever they want.
Do you sort of get the impression that Man City fans are a bit more grounded than Man United fans?
Probably because they've, like you say, they've had to do this kind of journey.
Even though they've got all the money and stuff, I don't know. I feel as though Manchester's core is sky blue, whereas I feel Man United obviously more global. And when you meet a Man United fan, there's probably less of a chance of them being from Manchester, whereas if you chat to a Man City fan, they're probably in and around the area.
Well, I know loads of Man United fans. Don't know any that are from Manchester. I know I had an old football manager when I used to play Sunday League, and a family friend, a family that I remember in primary school that were Man City fans. I used to take the mick out of them because they're so crap, and they're all from Manchester. Yeah. So the Man City fans I know are because they're brought up in Manchester. So yeah, you're probably right there, and that's not a massive dig at United. They've been a massive club for so long, and they've got a lot of that kind of tourist feel to it a little bit more. And you go to Old Trafford, and I'm sure City are starting to see a little bit of that now. Now that they're so global and so well known with younger fans coming through. But yeah, I do know what you mean. I feel like if you tend to find more Man City fans are from Manchester, I'd say.
But look though, Man City had success under previous managers. Mancini won the league with them.
Yeah, Pellegrini. Right.
Pellegrini. So, but how much of how good they are now should be down to Pep Guardiola? Because there were times where I thought, this is Pep's real test here, because for Barcelona, who was so good, part of me thought that I could go in and probably get them winning the league, or at least competing with Real Madrid. But how much of how good they are recently should go down to Pep, because it's clear he's got such an influence there.
Yeah, massively, and I think the way they play football is solely down to Pep, and he's just changed the way they play and the way they manipulate teams, and and score goals, and just the football they play is breathtaking, and that is all solely down to Pep. I agree that managers should be near the top if you're in charge of Man City, but you only have to look at Man United and the amount of money they've spent, for example, and managers are struggling there. So yeah, I think there's always a good debate with like the Klopp-Pep thing and things like that, because Klopp's probably squeezing more out of a team that shouldn't be doing as well as they are, potentially, when you look at some of the players. Whereas Pep, it's the style. The style is unbelievable. I mean, they virtually beat everyone last year without a striker, really, and that's just incredible. And it's the way he's changed a lot. I look at the way we do it as well. Teams just play out from the goalkeeper, out from the back. A lot of that is down to Pep Guardiola. He's brought that over with him to England. He's changed the English game, in my opinion. So yeah, we'll always be remembered for that.
And it's fair to say they've not stood still in the summer. Of course, you alluded to the arrival of Erling Haaland, who's hit the ground running in the Premier League. We were all, of course, laughing at those memes from the Community Shield after he hit the bar from close range, but boy, did he make up for it against West Ham. He arrived from Borussia Dortmund for over 50 million. They've also signed, of course, Calvin Phillips, Stefan Ortega as well. They've also lost some, though. Raheem Sterling, of course, gone to Chelsea, and also a couple gone to Arsenal as well, by the way of Jesus and Zinchenko as well. So, how do you rate them compared to last season?
It's going to be interesting, because I think they're almost changing little bits in terms of, like I just mentioned, that they didn't have a striker and now they've got a real focal point in Haaland, and they're mixed stuff around a little bit. I think that's probably because at the end of the day, Haaland could come in and get 50 bloody goals. It won't change the fact that they'll win the league, because they won the league without him. That's going to be more Europe, in my opinion. They need to get that European trophy, and there was games, I remember when they went out to Real Madrid, it just needed a finishing touch. I mean, they battered them for 2 legs and went out, and it was probably the difference was a Benzema. So I don't think it will change too much in the Premier League, but yeah, I mean they've lost some big players. It shows how good their squad is, and Calvin Phillips, so they're still bringing through like a young English player, which I like as well. So it's changed little bits. It'll be interesting to see that, but they're just frightening, mate. I look at the subs bench and it's just. It's scary. It's scary when you look at their subs bench. It really is.
Of course, we went up to the Overlap a couple of weeks ago, and the Man City fan channel is, of course, a esteemed company, and I was chatting on. In fact, click the link in the card at the top, but also down below as well to see my chat with Steven Mcinerney, who runs that channel. And I said to him, we have it when we play teams like Burton Albion in the Cup.
Yeah.
Like, we're travelling to the Etihad more in hope than expectation. But when we even get there, we're not even getting the full experience, because their fans will not be raising themselves for what is effectively a meaningless game against Bournemouth. But he counteracted it by saying, well, actually, we might be well up for it, because it's the first game of the season, and 2, Haaland as well. So we actually might get one of the best atmospheres that we've ever had at the Etihad.
Yeah, I remember thinking that when the fixtures come out. There's certain games which I understand. I think Liverpool's another one where people go, God, the atmosphere's a bit of a myth, isn't it? Well, that's because they're playing, a Bournemouth. They get themselves up for the big games, which I totally appreciate. But this time round, I do think it'll be different. It's their first home game of the season. It's Haaland's home debut. I think they'll be up for it. I really do. So yeah, I agree with you there. I think it will be maybe a better atmosphere than we've seen in the past. But it might. Hopefully we'll quieten down a little bit, mate. Just trying to think of anything positive.
Well, last time we went there was no atmosphere, but there was a reason for that. It was COVID. Can you remember what happened?
Yeah, we only just lost 2-1.
We were unlucky. We had more shots than them.
What team?
Yeah, well, honestly, Eddie Howe's Bournemouth, honestly. But as I said, it's going to be a very different side. So look, Tom, Man City fans are watching. Tell me how Bournemouth compare footballing-wise now to under Eddie Howe's era, because a lot has changed in like the 7 years since we last got promoted. Yeah,
I think, don't get me wrong, I very much doubt there's many City fans worrying about what we're going to do. But if you think we're the same Bournemouth that come up before, then you'll be very much mistaken. And obviously Pep and his coaches and that will know that. But yeah, we come up and we were probably you'd either look at a lot of pundits said naive at times, but then a lot of people said, very exciting, very brave. We played a lot of expansive football, and I think we got pumped 5 or 6 at City when we first went there, and because we just tried to have a go. We're the complete opposite, really. We're closer to a Burnley type team, really. We're going to make it difficult, and we saw last week against Villa, we scored less than 2 minutes in. And if we do that against teams this season, we're going to be a right pain to break down. We're very disciplined, very organised. Probably go with a back 5 really, with 2 protecting, and we'll be nasty. We'll make fouls, and we'll be really stubborn, I think.
Do you think more stubborn than under Eddie? Because Eddie Howe liked to out football teams. So are you saying that we've possibly actually got more of a chance of getting something in this game than what we had under Eddie? But the bookies don't suggest that.
No, of course not. I think in a weird way, I was thinking about it, I think we're probably better suited to getting 0-0s away from home against teams everyone expects us to be wipe the floor with. But we might struggle a little bit more when we come up against teams that people expect us to beat, where we have to be a bit more brave and open. Whereas, Eddie got some big results against teams around us. So, obviously the proof being the pudding, but we'll certainly be a tougher nut to crack. And, Burnley spent a lot, although Jody just gone down, spent a lot of time in the Premier League. If we could be a little bit like that, that doesn't bother me. We're not as direct. We're not just going to lump the ball up the top. We will try and be progressive when we got the ball, and we've got some quick players in there, and we'll try and take the ball up the pitch and carry it. But from a defensive point of view, off the ball, we're stubborn, we're disciplined, we're organised, and that will hopefully stand us in good stead in these type of matches. Not that means we're going to get anything, but it'll make us competitive, I think.
So in terms of team news, Aymeric Laporte is out as he's had knee surgery, so it's going to be sort of mid-September where he's going to be back. But apart from that, you know what, they're pretty strong. Now, Tom, you know what, it's easy for me to say, but apart from Haaland,
right,
apart from De Bruyne,
right,
apart from, you know what, who's your man to watch that's maybe not one of the headline makers for Man City?
Yeah, okay, I'll try and be a little bit different. And I actually think Rodri in the defensive midfield position. I think what you don't realise, you look at all these, exciting players that you just mentioned, a lot of it comes through Rodri, kind of sits in front of that back 4. Almost like Busquets used to do, with Barcelona and things like that for Spain. Kind of just, if you can stop him playing, because everything will come through him. To a much lesser extent, we used to do it with Sermon a little bit. He'd kind of be the unsung hero. But if you went back on every goal, he probably started it by spraying the ball around, and Rodri would do that. And I think sometimes what teams do against City is, because they go so deep and try and be compact, is you allow Rodri too much time on the ball to just pick his passes, and he's the assist before the assist a lot of the time. So players like that probably go underrated, and also people from like full-back positions like Cancelo and that can cause you a lot of problems because they're so attack-minded. But mate, I could list every player. I could say Edison will start a lot of attacks. Do you know what I mean? So everyone to watch. But Rodri's one I think goes under the radar. I think City fans know how important he is to them.
Can I ask you a question?
Go
on. This is going to test you somewhat, but in your FPL side, who did you start up top?
Harry Kane and Jesus.
All right. Have you changed Harry Kane?
No, I couldn't do it.
You couldn't?
That was my plan.
You were debating swapping him with Haaland. That's good. I'm glad.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. It's the football fan in
Cherry
me.
Through.
Just couldn't do it, mate.
Good.
I'll definitely have Haaland at some point this season, but I couldn't do it just because they're playing Bournemouth. It helps that I think Salah's got Palace, so I think I can captain Salah. That's not too bad. I didn't do it. I have just kept the City players in that I've got, which is Kyle Walker and João Cancelo. I have got them in, but they were already there. I didn't put them in just for the Bournemouth game. I'll probably leave them in. But to be fair, I burnt myself last week. So, be transparent.
Yeah.
I put Emi Martinez as my keeper.
Okay.
Thinking Villa have got a good start of the season. They've got a good chance of clean sheet against Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Didn't happen, mate. So I burnt myself there. So I'm not going to do it. Have you got Haaland?
No, I have got
Well
Haaland. I still need to make my change.
But you've got Kane as well.
I have got Kane. So
stick with Kane.
All to be revealed on our Premier League show. I will tell you what I've done in the FPL segment on there. So a lot of the media, look, they're suggesting that Man City could wipe the floor with us, but it's always interesting to hear what their fans have got to say about us. And of course, Steven from Esteemed Company had his say on the recent preview show on his channel.
essentially, Premier League fans, we get very myopic every now and then. We tend to focus on our own league when things are going on. And Bournemouth have been out of the Premier League for a couple of years now, of course, which I didn't realise it'd been 2 years, by the way. I thought it'd just been a year. But a couple of years away. And in my head, Bournemouth are still very much the Eddie Howe side, which is totally unfair, but that's what most people's memory of Bournemouth is. Scott Parker's highly rated, isn't he? He's done a good job, so far in his career. And a lot of people, who was it? I can't remember who it was. I think it was Gary Neville, actually. You were there. We were in the same room at the overlap together, and like Gary Neville was talking a lot about how Scott Parker was really impressive when he was going for his coaching badges, and I think there's obviously sometimes a need or necessity, at very least, for more pragmatic football. I think it's probably our manager's fault, but like passing attractive football has been glamorized and unfairly, in my opinion. And this is coming from someone who watches probably the best football in the world. It's been often maligned as the wrong way to do it if you're not passing it around and so on. But I don't think that's always fair, because there's many ways to solve the same problem. And like, look, as much as Eddie Howe's football was great, but ultimately it didn't really keep you up. And I mean, I'm expecting you guys to sit quite deep, in general, just try and park the bus. And I don't blame his I'd been exactly the same if I was Scott Parker in this circumstance. I mean, look, it's obviously a big ask, the Premier League champions, and you've just come up and so on, but I do think until everyone gets too tired because they're absolutely melting, I think it will be a decent atmosphere at the start. It just look, personally, I'm obviously expecting City to win. Like, I saw the odds, and like I've never seen odds of 45-1 for an away team to win before, which is quite ridiculous. I think that's a little bit disrespectful, actually, because I do actually think football's mad, and like the expectation, the heat is such a level, and you could easily frustrate Man City with the sun glaring in their eyes and us not playing particularly well. I don't ever think games are won before they kicked off. I think it's just naive to think that. And like, Bournemouth and Scott Parker, Scott Parker's not stupid, and I think he'll be aware of the expectation.
Interesting. Now, you know what? Valid views, of course, from Steven there, but there is an undertone there. Of course, this won't be what it's like for Man City's coaching team, the statistical analysis team, but from Man City's fans' opinions, they seem to be maybe underestimating us a little bit. I mean, we have got some threats, haven't we? And we're going to go through the blueprint now of how Bournemouth can beat Man City. Now, firstly, it's worth saying that Man City are going to have a poor day.
Of course.
And they have had a few poor days, and sometimes really unexpected. I remember some famous wins where Palace went up there and beat them, and there have been other sides that have done it as well. But we also need to be bang up for it as well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, only last week, the Villa game, we were brilliant, but they had to have an off game, and they did. Villa weren't on it, and so you need a bit of that. You need the rub of the green, and I mean, clearly when you see them odds, I mean, I saw 40-1. I just couldn't. I've never seen that. But if people that don't know, 40-1 means if you put a quid on Bournemouth, you've lost a quid.
Yeah, and it's gonna. So basically, we're gonna beat them every 41 games. that's one way of putting it. Yeah.
No, I think like you say, mate. They've certainly got to have an off day. They've certainly got an off day, and we're going to be just everything. Whether it's rub of the green, little decisions, and bits and bobs. It might be but it's football. You said earlier in the show, it's 11v11. We put a ball over top early on, and their last man pulls our man down. They'd have a 10 men, and you don't know. You don't know. And as you said, Palace were one. Tottenham done a double on last season. They can be got at, and
we're going to have to be physical against them, are we?
Absolutely.
So Jefferson Lerma, it's important that he's re-established as a midfielder, probably, because otherwise, Ben Pearson might be playing again, and he's a bit of a shithouser as well.
Yeah, if they, Steven said it there, which doesn't surprise me that a lot of teams see us in this Eddie mould that we just alluded to, that we're not like that anymore. And I think a few of the Villa players said after the game that Bournemouth were so big, so physical, and we've got a lot of units in there that are happy to have a scrap, and that's probably something that City aren't used to, especially playing Bournemouth. So that's certainly something that we're going to have to win. We're going to have to win our individual battles. We're going to have to rough them up a bit, but there's certain things you just can't do everything. You can't man mark Haaland, De Bruyne, all of them. But you just got to, win the battles, get in their faces, just make it nasty, mate, and hope that maybe they don't fancy it, and maybe they think, well, we don't fancy this one, and they just hope that their quality will prevail. But if we're stubborn and we get to half time, and then they start going, God, we need this goal here, and then you never know, they open up, and we have got players at the other end that can hurt teams. So. Yeah, listen, who knows? But like you say, they've got to have an off day, and we've got to be bang on it.
It's all about those balls between the lines and just almost the sort of telepathy between their midfield and, say, Haaland up front. He'll be making runs at the right time, and with players like Kevin De Bruyne who can thread it through, we've seen what he can do. It's going to be very difficult. Do you reckon Chris Mepham needs to get touch tight to him, or almost give him a few yards, because that guy is rapid and he can turn any one of our centre backs, maybe even Lloyd Kelly, who's our fastest. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. It's going to be defensively. I mean, it's something for them to sink their teeth into. What a challenge. They should be relishing this.
Oh, absolutely. I think so as well. This is why we got promoted. You don't want to shirk away from it. I think Scott and the group aren't that sort of group anyway. I think they'll relish the challenge. I know it's completely different, but last season we struggled sometimes against the teams nearer the bottom. But when we had big games that people were saying 6-pointers, we battled, and I know this is a different level, but I think they'll be relishing it. It is a free hit. No one's expecting us to do anything. And, so let's just leave it all out on the pitch. And I think if we can probably, even though that can still cause problems, I think if we can force them out wide and, say, get some crosses in, don't get me wrong, Haaland's still bloody good in the air, but you can't stop everything. I think that's our best chance, is forcing them to put balls in the box. Because I fancy us to win battles in that way. It's going to be, like you say, when they're sliding these balls in the channel, it's going to be difficult. But we'll be up for it.
We'll be up for it. The referee will be up for it. It's David Coots. Do you remember the last time we had him, mate?
No, I ain't got a clue.
I can tell you, it was Coventry City at home. What happened in that game?
Oh, was that when Lerma got sent off?
When Lerma got sent off, yeah.
He's an absolute banker for a card, isn't he?
He's a banker for a card.
I think loads of players think Smith's probably a banker for a card against Grealish. Lerma's, we got a lot of I think there'll be a few cards, mate, but I'll take it.
Can't wait. Now, Bournemouth are going to be without Rothwell, of course, Fredericks, but also David Brooks, of course. Marcus Senesi might be playing. But apparently, Chris Temple, it's Senesi, which puts to bed my Britney Spears chant.
Yes.
I love that. And also my Marcus Senesi.
You can still do it. Lionel Senesi. Isn't he?
Yeah.
No, he could get chucked in. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm looking forward to seeing him when he does play anyway.
And another person who we're looking forward to seeing, who might get used, as of course Nathan Ake. Looked likely at one stage that he was going to Chelsea, but what a player! One of our best players that we've ever had, eh?
Yeah. If any City fans are watching, from me, I'm 30. I've been going virtual all my life. Best player I've ever seen in the Bournemouth shirt, in my opinion. I never saw him have a bad game. He was different class, and it was no coincidence that he got an injury in COVID and then we went down. But absolutely different class. Best signing we've ever made, and we made money off him, obviously. And I think I'm really glad he's getting that spell in the team. He seems like he's got the nod over John Stones at the moment with Laporte out. So, yeah, he's a great player, and I'm looking forward to seeing him. Just hope he has a rare off day.
So, Tom, do you want to do the honours and click your fingers?
There it is.
There it is. There is the pitch right next to us. So, Man City fans, you probably don't even care who's playing for Bournemouth. But what Tom is going to do is predict your team. We'll start with Bournemouth though, because they're obviously the most important to us.
We're above them. Alphabetically.
Yeah, I mean this is a Champions League fixture.
We're above City, by the way. What are we doing here? We're above them. They take a point.
Hi City. Hi City.
Mind the gap.
All right. Let's go for it then, and we're going to go through the Bournemouth side. I don't know what formation you want, but I'm presuming it's going to be the three at the back and the wing backs. But yeah, you can talk me through this.
Yeah, it'll be the same sort of system. I think obviously Mark Travers will be in goal. We have signed a new goalkeeper, Brazilian, but Travers has been great, so we'll stay in there. Back three is going to be interesting because obviously we moved Lerma to the back, and what I did is I done a little poll on Twitter.
I love this from you. This is where you get interactive.
Well, I thought so I think Senesi will come in.
Yeah.
Which means there's probably going to be one change, but it's very difficult to know what to do because we moved one of our probably our best centre midfielder to the back who played really well. So does he move up? Do you replace? What do you do? So I kind of put it out there. It was really tight.
Okay.
So 11% of the vote was to leave Kiefer Moore out, move Jeff up, and just leave Dom on his own.
Yeah.
And then with 20% of the vote was a straight swap with Mepham. 31% of the vote was Jeff moving to midfield, take Pearson out.
Okay, right.
Play Celesi. But the winner with 38, so it is close, was to take Billing out, move Jeff up and play Celesi. So I'm kind of going to go with the people because I'm really split. I think any of them could happen and I'd kind of understand any of them.
Yeah.
But this one probably makes the most sense. So we're going to put Senesi in the middle of the three.
Yeah.
We are going to have to manoeuvre it a little bit with Mepham going to the right side, which isn't ideal.
But then he does that for Wales, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's played it lots of time, but I did think
he played right back for us.
Yeah, I did think he looked more comfortable in the middle of a three, but Senesi is left-footed, so we're going to do that. And obviously Kelly will remain as the kind of left-sided centre-back.
Wing-backs
remain the same, yeah. Adam Smith on the right and Jordan Zamora on the left. Both had good games. and we'll both have to be well on it, mate.
And then what are we going to do? Is the formation on screen what you envisage?
Pretty much, mate.
But it's going to be a lot of movement.
A lot of
that.
flexibility, and I mean, listen, if I wanted to do it deep down, I'd move everyone back next to Travers, to be honest. But yeah, do it like this. We'll do the 2 in the middle, and we'll go with, like we say, we're gonna leave Bidding out, so it'll be Pearson and Lerma as the 2. Very protective midfielders just in front of that back 3, really, and they'll do the nasty work.
Do you not feel as though we need a ball-playing midfielder like Lewis Cook in there that can spread it wide and stuff? Or, is that not our task for this game? We're not looking to...
We're not going to have the ball.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're just not going to have the ball enough, in my opinion. So it's going to be more counter-attack and try and play with this kind of front 3, if you like, and just breaking away. I think them 2, Pearson and Lerma's job will just be to be a pain and just to win the ball back on transitions and then give it to them front players. So yeah, I think off that right side, like he did in the last game, will be Tavernier, who's obviously would like to come in a little bit and he can narrow the pitch down, but he's got a bit of pace. And then Solanke will play in that player 9. He'll play deeper, as he did last time. I mean, City fans, you'd all think, oh, Dom Solanke's your striker. He'll virtually be in midfield, and Kiefer Moore will lead the line, and he's a nuisance. And Ake won't know him, even though he knows a lot of the team. So Kiefer Moore is going to be big for us because in one-on-one duels, I think he'll cause problems. It's going to be whether we can get enough people around him and get the ball to him, to be honest.
All right, so that's the Bournemouth side predicted by Tom Jordan there. How close were we last week? I mean, we didn't expect Tavernier to start, did we?
All Pearson.
Yeah, all Pearson.
So I was all Moore, I don't think either.
No.
Yeah, it was a tough one last week. I think I've done better on Villa's predictions.
You probably did.
I'd probably do the same here with City, to be honest, because there was a few surprises last week, wasn't there?
Okay, then let's go on to Man City, and we've got them as what looks like a sort of 4-3-3 formation, mate, and that's something they're more than familiar with.
Yeah, like you say, they mix around, don't they? Very flexible, very fluid system. But yeah, obviously Edison will be in goal for him. Yeah. I mean, he'll probably have more forward passes than a lot of our players. What a keeper. Back 4, I think they'll stay the same. Obviously got the port out at the moment. I think they're signing a left back, but at the moment it's pretty self-explanatory. Walker will play at right back. Yeah. And then they'll have Cancelo at left back.
And have you got him in your fantasy?
They're the 2 I've got.
Yeah. Okay.
I've got them 2 because Walker's quite cheap on FPL, but I knew they lost Zinchenko and hadn't got a left back yet. So yeah, they're going to start the season with him. And then Diaz will be the right centre back, and Ake will be the left centre back. So yeah, it's not a bad back 4, is it? Not bad.
It's okay. Yeah. It's okay. Right. Who have we got in midfield for them then, mate?
Well, as I said earlier, Rodri will be the one sitting deep in that player 6 role there. He'll sit deep and try and start all the attacks for them. And then this is where I'm going to make a little change. They started with De Bruyne as the player 7 there, which I'll stick with, obviously, De Bruyne. Yeah. But they went with Gundogan next to him, and I just think they were away from home at West Ham, and Gundogan can give you a little bit more defensively. I think they'll look at this game and think they can get on the ball a bit more. So I'm going to put Foden there. Okay. And he played off the right-hand side in their last game, but we know how fluid Foden is. I think they're going to try him in that kind of more 8 role in midfield. Right. And they'll bring Mahrez in into player 10 off that right side. Yeah. I think that'll be their only change. So Mahrez for Gundogan and Foden come inside. Grealish on the left. I think they'll stick with him, and we know from playing Villa and stuff how good he is. And then they'll probably go with Erling Haaland up front, mate. Norway's second best striker to Josh King. So worry about him. So yeah, it's not bad. And obviously they could start Alvarez. They could start Gundogan. There's a lot of players they could start. But I'm going to go with that. Just the one change for them. And let me know, City fans, if you think the same. But I just feel like they'll probably think at home they could be a little bit more. They'll have a bit more of the ball, even more than they did against West Ham if it's possible. And I think they might try Foden a little bit more narrow.
Wow. So,
but they haven't got Raheem Sterling, who, by the way, City fans, he scored the most goals against Bournemouth out of any player ever, I believe, because he scored so many for Liverpool against us, and then he scored a hat-trick against us, did he, for City?
It'll probably nullify it now he's playing for Chelsea, because obviously we always beat them, but he'll probably score, but then we'll probably
we'll beat City. We'll beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. It's our playground, isn't it? But that's a positive. Sterling always scores for City against us. He ain't here, so 1-0.
1-0. We will take it. No, but go on then. Let's do our predictions. I'm going to be realistic, and I'm going to go for a 3-0 defeat. Sadly.
Okay, but that's relatively realistic. I saw a few this morning. They're all saying 6-0 City and things like that. I mean, obviously, my head thinks we can nick something, but there won't be many times this season where I'll predict us to lose. Put it that way, because that's the sort of fan I am. But I'm hoping for a valiant display. So I'll be really kind of positive, and I'll go 2-1 City. I'll say we've done that twice before.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll nick something from a set piece. Maybe I think we haven't really said about that. I think set piece is probably our best chance of scoring, and we did score one at last weekend, and the other one was a cross. So I think that's our biggest chance. And maybe we'll nod something in, and hopefully we'll nullify them a little bit. But yeah, they're a strong side, mate. So I can't really say anything but them winning. But who knows? It's football. Never know.
It is.
If we're first on match of the day, you know what's happened. Come on.
So just before we go, we cannot not talk about this wonderful place that we're in. I'm going to take you round now so you can have a quick look, and we'll see if we can catch Paul as well. So we've got Paul Orchard here, proprietor of In Off the Far Post. How's business going? All right?
Yeah, it's all right. It was good. Villa first game. Yeah. Lots of Villa fans in, so yeah, it was good.
Loads of stuff here, and it's not just AFC Bournemouth stuff, is it?
No,
You've got all sorts.
Yeah, all the Premier League teams. So they'll all be covered when they come this year.
Are you finding that on a match day, on a home match day, I mean, the away fans often go to the Bell, don't they? So
yeah.
I suppose they're all piling in here, looking up their home club and seeing what you got.
It's the away pub now, isn't it, the Bell? So yeah, we get lots of them, so it's good. All of them have had a beer, though.
Yeah, I swear they have. All right, briefly, thoughts on Bournemouth this season. Do you think we can stay just above of that little dreaded dotted line?
After Saturday, I want to say yes. But after the end of August, we'll know a bit more, won't we? We'll see the character of the players after the big 3 games. Wolves is an important game now. But yeah, if they can get Jeff to commit to another 4 years, then they'll stay up.
Brilliant. Paul, thank you very much.
No worries.
Really appreciate that. So yeah, do check it out. In Off the Far Post. We'll pop the links down in the description below. So brilliant to catch up with Paul there. Yeah, you've got to visit In Off the Far Post. Right then, from myself, Sam Davis.
And me, Tom Jordan.
Happy travels to Manchester. Let's hope we're travelling back happy as well. Up the chest.
Up the chest.